what are enhancement services and why are they different than reunification?
Okay, so enhancement services is something kind of new to the juvenile dependency scheme. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, The Secret, How to Fight CPS Win, and with my co-host Aaron Carranza. Aaron, have we worked out those technical difficulties? Can you hear me? And I'm wondering if
I hope so.
Okay, and I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hooray!
Okay, let's take our next call from Cassandra from Northern California. Cassandra, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I had a couple questions to ask. I was wondering, by chance, the first one was, what are enhancement services and why are they different than reunification?
Okay, so enhancement services is something kind of new to the juvenile dependency scheme, the Welfare and Institutions Code. Whenever a child is taken away from a parent, the parents were supposed to receive, under the old law, family reunification services. Now, in a lot of situations, that costs money to the county to give you those services to help you get your child back. So in an effort to cut that cost, to shave off some of the money, they have ordered enhancement services, which are lesser than the reunification services, not necessarily that they have to provide them to you, and things like that. In a lot of counties, in a lot of cases, social workers still treat enhancement services as family reunification services, but they're not the same. So that's, I hope that is an explanation that you understand.
Okay, and then I was wondering, so with enhancement services, you could still get your kids back, right?
Yes, especially if the case is still open.
Okay, so like, they gave the dad family maintenance and me enhancement services, but that still means I'm working my way to get my daughter back, right?
Correct. Now, that's the classic case where they give enhancement services, where the child is placed with one parent and they give him family maintenance services to help him keep custody of the child or to maintain custody of the child until the next 6-month review hearing. And then they give the other parent, which was you, just enhancement services. You can still, do all of your services and still get the child back at the next 6-month review. But you're kind of behind the 8 ball because the child's with one of the parents already.
Okay, and then my next question would be, if you've completed everything on your case plan and graduated, but they still refuse to give your child back even though you've graduated everything and done everything they asked, is that normal?
You're asking, can you still get your child back? Yes, you can still get your child back.
Even though they're saying you've made minimal progress, even though you've graduated from everything?
Yeah, now see that, that's always the trick, right, Aaron? You do everything and then the social worker says, oh, you really didn't do a good job in your services and in your classes.
Yeah. You're not benefiting from services. You didn't participate enough. Is one of their favorites.
So you want to make sure that when you're participating and say for your counseling, that your counselor can write a letter or come to court and testify, hey, this mother, Cassandra, has done everything and she did it with flying colors and she's really learned a lot. We think that she, is no longer a risk or a danger to the child. The problem becomes, and I think this was an issue in Aaron's case, and it's an issue in a lot of cases. Sometimes if the social worker doesn't support you getting the child back, there may be allegedly some collusion between the social worker and the therapist. So for example,
Yep.
I think what happened in Aaron's case, the counselor said, oh, she's doing great. And then subsequently, Aaron has a run-in with the social worker, and then subsequently, the therapist says, "Oh, Aaron didn't learn anything out of the counseling. So, there's a lot of ways that happens, because remember, the social worker in the county is the one who's paying your therapist. That's why a lot of people don't want to use the county social workers. They want to use their own, not the county social workers. They want to use their own counselors. So there's no financial tie to the social worker, and they aren't beholden to the social worker. In some counties in California, I've seen the courts rule that you have to use a CPS approved therapist. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if you go out and get your own therapist, they may not approve that therapist because they want you to use their therapist because they actually exercise some type of financial control and manipulation possibly over that therapist.
And you might have to file 25 different resumes, 25 different motions to get a new therapist. But what I found in my case was, at the beginning of your therapy session, you sign a piece of paper, and it says that you will take on the financial responsibility once DCFS has dismissed your case. So what happened with me was, like was said, I had a run-in with my social worker, and all of a sudden I went from being completely done to needing 3 more. Then all of a sudden I needed 12 more, and then my case was dismissed. So I was on the hook for 12 more sessions at starting all my services all over again.
Cassandra, does that
That's
make
how
sense?
I feel. I have my own therapist, though. They wanted me to see their therapist, and I feel like in my case, because I didn't see my therapist, now that has become the reason why they reunified my daughter with her dad instead of me, even though I've been in therapy this whole time. It's just I'm not.
I saw my therapist and their therapist at the same time. So I continued with my private doctor, and I went and I saw their therapist to get my services done, and I submitted reports from both of them because I knew that this therapist was not on the up and up, because she tried to charge my attorney $150 for a consultation fee because my attorney wanted clarification on her report.
Yeah, I'm just seeing my therapist, but we gave up the reasonable services clause for my therapy. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, what is a adoption assessment?
The adoption assessment is whoever has your child. Under the fairly new law, it's been around for several years though, there's 2 trains running at the same time. One is the reunification train, and one is the adoptions train. So while you're trying to work to get your child back, they're still evaluating and looking for people to adopt your child. So at the end of 6 months or 12 months, if you don't get the child back, they have somebody ready to adopt your child, and there's no delays. I doubt that there's anything like that going on in your case. There may be, because you said the child was with the father, right?
I have 2 different cases, one in Nevada County and one in Sutter County.
Oh, okay.
So the second question was tailored to the Sutter County case. They actually just gave me and my husband unsupervised visits, and they said that they're going to be moving forward from there. If the unsupervised visits go well, then they're going to start giving us overnights and then transitioning the girls home after that.
That's great.
But we feel that the Nevada County case, because they're only doing enhancement services with me and have reunified the eldest and the other biological dad's home. There's 2 dads in these cases, different dads. But the oldest is with her dad, and we feel that if I don't get reunified with her, that Sutter County is going to take that as a reason to adopt our kids out. Is that a possibility?
Anything's possible with CPS. You never know. But here's the thing. It's my humble opinion that if you're given overnights or unmonitored visits with the child after disposition, or even before, there's no legal basis for you to not have your children. You see, there's no step-up plan provided for in the Welfare and Institutions Code in California. Step-up plans are accepted and okay in family law courts, and they're also done in CPS courts. And, I actually did a case like this recently where it was a 6-month review. The social worker was recommending unmonitored visits for my client. And, I mentioned to the county council and to the social worker, well, if you're recommending unmonitored visits, that means he's not a risk to the children. Therefore, you have to return the children to him. The children were in foster care. The mother was not a resource. But, after conferring with the parties and conferring with the judge, I thought that if I went to trial, I might not even get that. It's kind of a subtle pressure put on you to go along with the step-up plan. And I mentioned to my client, hey, let's just go to trial. Let her, if they're going to rule against us, they're going to rule against us. But, my client wasn't willing to take that chance, and I don't blame him. At the end of the day, I go home, to my friends and family, and he still has to worry about his kids. So I understood. But he's getting his visits. They're unmonitored. They're stepped up. I think he's getting overnight weekends now. So things are working out. But if you get your children back in one county, you can use that fact in another county to get those children back.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So they are doing unsupervised here, so I won't have to worry about losing my two here if Nevada County decides that they don't want me to have custody, they want the dad to have custody, because they are biased in the Nevada County case.
Yeah.
They are completely tailored.
2 minutes.
Yeah, but if you get your children
And
back,
they've made it clear.
If you get your children back in one county, that's going to go a long way for you to get your children back in another county. Because remember, if you get your children back in one county, that means you're not a risk or a danger to them. How can you be a risk or a danger to other children? Right? Just doesn't make sense.
And what about if you did an evaluation with a psychiatrist, and that psychiatrist is reporting you 9 months after you last saw him still? Is that normal in CPS cases for them to send you to their provider and then still 9 months later they're still talking about you?
No, not normal at all. 9 months is a long time. Hey, Cassandra.
Because this guy, I last saw him in January, and in my last referral, which was on the 30th of September, they're saying that I said something. I didn't supervise the entire year in my Nevada County case. And he's sitting there saying that I've been telling my daughter these things, but then you look at the service logs, and you'll see in the visits that I didn't say any of these things. And in fact, my daughter is the one that brought up the concerning thing I said to me, and I redirected the conversation in my visitation.
Cassandra, never give up the fight. I want to thank you for calling and thank you for listening. We have to take another break right now. This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win, and we'll be right back after these messages.